Okay, it's a provocative title. I admit it. What can I say? It's pre-season. I've got to feed the algorithm, guys. I've got to drum up some more subscribers. If you don't subscribe already, please do. It's going to be an exciting season. But there is a key point at the heart of it. We're going to talk about, well, everything really from the friendly. Arsenal 2, Villarreal 3, 5-4, I believe, to Villarreal on the penalty shootout. We're going to talk about two players in particular. Victor Gyokeres and Max Dman. So what I've said in the headline is that Victor Gyokeres would have had more luck playing for Villarreal today. And that's not to say Villarreal are a better team than Arsenal. I suppose what I'm saying there is it's all well and good having the number 9, buying the number 9. But you've got to have the style of play, the tactical model to complement that player, to accentuate their strengths. And I think that's something that Arsenal and Mikel Arteta recognise. But at the moment, it's very much a work in progress. This is his first ever start for the club. And it might take some time. It's something that's got to happen, but it might take some time. The reason I say he would have fared better playing for Villarreal is because, well, how were Villarreal playing? I mean, that Danjuma goal is a great example. They were playing predominantly on the break, running into space, playing through balls, into channels where their forward players could race into one-on-one situations, use their speed, use their strength, use their clinical finishing. That's what Victor Gyokeres does best. Burst into space. He's quicker than you think. He's so powerful. He can finish. Are Arsenal going to be able to put him in those positions regularly? That is the question. Because if we think about Arsenal last season, well, they're a team playing against low blocks, against deep defences, working the ball around the outside of the box, getting it to Saka usually, cutting back in, crossing to the far post, looking for a header there from Marino, from Havertz, from Declan Rice arriving. That's sort of the classic way Arsenal play. If we are to get the best out of Gyokeres, we have to be more direct. We have to be more transitional. We have to play more end-to-end. It might involve less control, but that's what it will have to be. I don't think it matters who your number 9 is. Really, when you're playing against, 8 men behind the ball, they're going to be a low-touch player. And maybe Gyokeres is that good, right? A bit like a Haaland can at times. He can be completely absent from the game, but when he gets that one chance, he'll take it. And maybe that will be enough. I feel like, given his strengths, given his attributes, we should be looking to extract more from him in open play. There was one moment really in this game that I thought played to his strengths. Marino played a really early pass into the right channel. He went through, had a powerful shot, which was straight at the keeper. We need to generate those chances for him 3 times a game. I know that's easier said than done at times, but we've got to do it. We've got to move the ball quicker. We've got to move the ball sooner. We've got to hit the channels. We've got to play into space. Gabriel Martinelli's a player who gets a lot of stick at the moment. He's a player who's really suffered, I think, from our style. He's another who could benefit from playing the ball in space. Bukayo Saka could benefit. Noni Madueke, I think, could benefit. But we've got to make that shift. We've got to make that shift. There's no point having Victor Gyokeres and playing like he's Olivier Giroud or Kai Havertz, even. So plenty of time for that to happen. Is it going to happen by the time we play Manchester United at Old Trafford in about 10 days? I don't know. I really don't know. And that's why I think if Kai Havertz is fit for that game, there's a very good chance he starts it at number 9, because we know how to play with that player. If he's fit, I say. I haven't... Mikel Arteta's doing his press conference right now, but there was no Havertz in the squad today. Hopefully it's just precautionary and we see him at the weekend against Athletic Bilbao. But yeah, no panic stations, no cause for alarm. But he had 60 minutes today, Gyokeres, and they weren't 60 minutes that particularly suited him. It's all minutes in the tank. He's behind the other players in terms of his preparation. I'm just pointing out that there is definitely an adaptation to be made. And in that respect, we are a work in progress. Can we afford to be a work in progress given the fixture list we face at the start of the season? I'm not so sure. And that is why I am beginning to wonder if it will be Havertz. Not beginning to wonder, I've wondered that for quite a while for the start of the season. Max Dman came on, looked really good. Won the penalty, brilliant touch. He's an exceptional talent. But rather than just sort of build up the hype on him, because I think, I understand that. He's passing every test. He consistently looks one of our most dangerous players. I suppose maybe what I think is a more interesting question to ask is, why does Max Dman stand out? Why does Max Dman look different from so many of our other players? What is it about his individual qualities? And I think it's that one-on-one ability. I think it's that capacity to go past his man, to have the skill, the speed of foot, speed of thought, to go past a player and change the situation. Because when we are facing those low blocks, we've got plenty of players who can recycle possession, come back the other way, but the people you really need are the guys who take a man out, who get on the ball and go past somebody and change the numbers game. And he does that. He does do that. As well as almost anybody in the squad. I mean, we hear Noni Madueke is exceptional at that. We haven't really had a chance to see that yet. Bukayo Saka, obviously very good in that respect. But other than them, maybe an Ethan Ranieri, maybe. Miles Lewis-Skelly, very good ball carrier. But in the final third, Downland's not got many equals in the squad in that ability to go past somebody. And the willingness and the belief to go past somebody. He allies great talent with the confidence of youth. Now, what does that tell you? I'm hoping we move away from a style where we're constantly facing 8 men behind the ball. If we are facing that sort of situation, Max is going to be a really useful tool. If we are in that situation, there will continue to be calls for somebody like an Eze, because they're someone who can really produce those moments of magic. So yeah, those are my thoughts really on those two. Gyokeres, he and Arsenal need to meet in the middle somewhere, and that's an ongoing process. Dman looks sensational, but why does he look so good? Because his skill set is relatively unusual in the squad. He's also exceptional talent, don't get me wrong. I'm not downplaying what he's done. I just don't want all the focus to be on a 15-year-old. It's a huge amount of pressure and expectation potentially. What else to say about the game? I thought Mosquera looked good. He came on at right back, finished at centre half. He reminded me of... Remember when Yohan Djourou was good? When Yohan Djourou first came in and Arsene Wenger was like, we've got a real player here, we can't talk about him. And he played right back, he played centre half. He was upright, he was elegant on the ball. Mosquera reminded me of that. And Yohan Djourou was a good prospect at that time. So I liked what I saw of him. Athletic, good technique. Yeah, liked it. Ranieri I thought looked good in the central area. It continues, I think, to be one of the players who had one of the better pre-seasons. I think Mars didn't have his best game today. I'm intrigued to see. Bear in mind, this is a player who's not played a vast amount of football at left back. He had a sensational season last year. He's the sort of defensive part of his game. The space he vacates by inverting and tucking inside. Historically, we've seen opposition try and exploit that when it was Zinchenko. Are we going to see that again this season? I think it's going to be. I think he's got a big challenge. Second season syndrome is a real thing, and I'm not saying that's what will befall Miles, but people know about him now. They know how to counteract some of his strengths, and they may know how to exploit some of his weaknesses. So I think he's going to have to go up a level this year. He's capable of it, but it's going to be a big challenge because he's the number one left back now. He really, really is. Norgard had a decent first half. He was picked from the start again. He was picked from the start against Spurs, picked from the start against Villarreal. Maybe I am reading too much into it. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Part of me wonders if they're going to bed Zubimendi in more slowly and at Old Trafford go with a player who's defensively very, very strong in Norgard, knows the Premier League. I hope not, to be honest. No slight on him, but if we are to move towards this more direct way of playing between the lines quicker and faster, the reality is Zubimendi is better suited to that than Norgard. I really hope on Saturday we see Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard from the start. I really hope we see that. It's weird to me how many minutes that trio have actually spent together on the pitch. Got it in the second half today. We need to see more of it. I hope it starts on Saturday. Unless there's some smoke and mirrors going on and Mikel doesn't want United to see what he's got up his sleeve. Anything else? Ben White looked good. Yeah, he does. He looks the Ben White we know and love. So that's great. Brilliant to see Gabriel and Jurrien Timber back involved. Strange, surreal to see Pepe and Denis Suarez on the pitch. What fresh nightmare is this we're living through? Interesting, Pepe got a decent reception, didn't he? And you couldn't say the same for Denis Suarez, especially when he missed his penalty. Pens, really brilliant save from Gabriel's penalty by the Villarreal keeper. That was outstanding. Madueke misses this crucial spot kick. That's a shame, isn't it? As soon as he stepped up, you thought, oh. He's sort of the last player you'd want that to happen to. He got a great reception when he came on. He looked direct, threatening, I thought. Interesting that he played on the left. Martinelli's not had the pre-season he would have hoped to have. So I think Madueke on the left, that's something to keep an eye on, especially with Trossard out at the minute. But yeah, feel for him on the penalty. That's a shame. Would have been a nice one for him to score. It's another defeat, consecutive defeats. I mean, the results don't really matter to me in pre-season. That's why it's sort of the last thing I'm talking about. But I think there was really interesting stuff in this game. And it's way too early to make any sort of conclusions. But, yeah, there's work to be done. There is work to be done. I'll leave it there for now. I'm deadly serious. If you don't subscribe already, then please do, as your sort of new season present to me. And click the bell. I'm not even sure what it does. I think it means you get a notification when a new video drops. I mean, you know when they drop. They drop after the games. Alright guys, take care. Bye-bye.